Welcome, friends. Welcome to Indigenous Leaders Weekend at Kripalu. My name is Micah Mortali. I'm the Director of Outdoor Education here at the Center, and I'm honored to be here tonight to introduce this incredibly special event. This panel discussion will run from 7:30 till 9 p.m. I want to welcome everybody who's here in the space, here in the main hall at Kripalu, as well as everybody who is joining us online tonight as well. Kripalu is honored to be a partner in supporting the important work of Indigenous Peoples Day. And we are so honored to welcome everybody who's here tonight. This evening, we are joined by a delegation of Stockbridge Munsee Mohicans who've come here to Stockbridge, their ancestral homelands, from their reservation in Wisconsin, along with representatives from 15 tribal nations. This event was organized by the Alliance for a Viable Future, which was founded by Executive Director Lev Natan, who's here with us tonight, and will be facilitated by my good friend Sean Stevens. And I've had the great honor to work with Sean over the last few years, and just tried to think of a few words to describe Sean. And what came to mind were the words historian, musician, storyteller, language keeper, and fire carrier. So, Sean, over to you.
My name is Standing Eagle, but you can call me Sean Stevens. And as Lev said, I'm from the Stockbridge Munsee Band of Mohicans. And I was asked to facilitate tonight. And my first 5 minutes, what I was going to say, Micah already said. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to welcome all of our relatives who've come here for the Northeast Indigenous Climate Council. And even though it's Northeast here, we've got people from North, South, East, and West, a lot of original people, the First Nations people. And what I'd like to do is we start off on one end, hand the microphone, and have all of us introduce ourselves and say where we're from, and maybe give a word, just a word or two on how we're feeling. And we have our allies here as well, and such, but we'll start over here on the right.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Seth, and I'm here supporting some of my colleagues from the Life Comes From It organization. So I'm really grateful to be here.
Bonjour. Abatonski, just Indigenous Kaza, Migazine, Dodem. My spirit name is Little Half Moon. I'm Eagle Clan from the Ojibwe nation. I'm a Medewan man, and I come from north of the Great Lakes, northern Ontario. And I'm thankful to be here for this historical occasion. Miigwech.
Good evening, I'm Cheryl Demert Fairbanks. I'm Tlingit Tsimshian from Southeast Alaska, Prince of Wales Island, and I make my home on the lands of the Sandia Pueblo in New Mexico. I'm Cha'ak on my Tlingit side, which is Eagle, house of the man's footprint, Kuhisitan, and on my mother's side, Tsimshian, Lukshabu, house of the wolf. And Gunesh Chish for coming, it means thank you.
Greetings, I am Rainey Anjadi, and I come to you from the Mescalero Apache Reservation in New Mexico. And I'm just so grateful to be here and just to support the tribes here in Massachusetts.
Anushik Kishilamokwing. Nindusinzi Kokos Ramapo, Nindilanawape, Ato, Ramapo, Munsee, Lenape. Thank you, Great Spirit. It's really good to be able to speak the Munsee language. I'm regaining the language here, and the Stockbridge Munsee people, it's interesting to hear them. And what I said was, I'm Al from the Ramapo Munsee Lenape Nation Deer Clan, and I'm thankful to be here, and thanks in our Munsee language is Anushik. Thank you.
Twent. I'm Christine Hill, Tuscarora, Haudenosaunee, homelands over in the western door of New York. Currently here on the eastern door of with my Mohawk cousins and all my neighbors, newfound friends, and here to support all of us in this conversation and this weekend, in all of that it entails, both the joy and some of the hard things that are coming up.
Jugmashki. My name is Robin Perry Coe. I'm from the Chickasaw Nation, raised in Oklahoma, just returned from my original homeland in Alabama. And I'm so pleased to be here in the Mohican Nation to welcome these relatives back to their home.
Yad I say Bet Ahnis, my mother, to the Chini, my father, and Ashinhi, my maternal grandfather, and Kia'ani, my paternal grandfather. So I represent them. I am from the Navajo Nation, from Window Rock, Arizona, and I'm happy to be here to share the experience of being a peacemaker, working with the law, and so we have much to say about who we are, and thank you for making space for all of us here.
Thank you. Good evening. Hello, everybody. My name is Sherry Lynn Cook. I was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba. My birth name's Halcrow. And on my father's side, Métis Cree, and I was adopted out. And it's a beautiful, good story. And so I grew up in New Jersey, traditional home of the Lenape. And I want to say, welcome home.
Oh, Yate. My name is Jake Singer. I'm of the Nez tribe, Kia'ani clan, Tsinajini. I'm a father, my grandfather on my mother's side, Bitterwater clan, and my grandfather on my father's side, Cherokee Apache. Yat e pa hehuin tsin kwede ya hilhundi tlodo tadi ya I kwe. A hikri kode ya I si hasendo hachopahuin tsin bakha kode ya I hikri. It's really wonderful and that we're all gathered here, you know, to give each other and trying to re-inspire our nation. That we are still here, and then we'll be here forever. You know. Myself, you know, I'm a combat veteran of Vietnam, and then I'm a sun dancer, and my spiritual name is Chief Brave Eagle. And I'm really glad, you know, to be a part of this organization, part of this group here, and all really wonderful. And I also want to say, welcome home to the Munsee clan.
Hello, I'm glad to see all of you here. My name is Ma'avihoka Betna'athuse, Cheyenne and Arapaho from Calumet, Oklahoma. Red Spider Woman is translated in my first name, and I am so grateful I could be on this council, and we have been talking very strenuous and serious about climate change, and this is what the council is about. And we have drawn on our culture and who we are from this continent. So I really appreciate you being interested and being here because it's historical and we have come a long ways. Thank you very much.
Goetze. My name is Pamela Quintana. I'm Cochiti, Pueblo, and Cheyenne Arapaho, and I'm blessed to be here. And I came all the way from New Mexico, but this is my mother, Margaret Behan. So enjoy the evening, everyone. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Winona Cosbob. I am a member of the Stockbridge-Muncie Band of Mohicans from Wisconsin. This is my first time coming home. I feel very overwhelmed with emotions. I'm very proud and honored to be here.
I'm Madeline Romero. I'm Stockbridge-Muncie Band of Mohicans from Wisconsin. Hi, I'm Gracie, and I am Stockbridge-Muncie.
Thank you guys for that. My name is Ginger, and I am Sean's sister, so I am Stockbridge-Muncie Band of Mohicans, and we traveled here from Bowler, Wisconsin. And again, this is the three girls and myself. It is our first trip here. So we've been torn in all directions, being a part of this council and pulling together climate warriors on one side and then visiting our homelands and getting that connection is the other. But we're very happy to be here, and thank you for joining us.
Oh, me?
Yeah, thanks.
Quartermousy. Kung Squonkano. Needed in the Wasty. I'm Gordon Williams is my name. I cannot translate my spirit name to you, but I said my name is Kung Squonkanano. I am from the Stockbridge-Muncie Mohican in Wisconsin, and I am Oneida, Oneota Aga. I am of the Wolf Clan, and my grandmother was a turtle. And so this is my first time here. I was asked to come out here with my drum group, my grandsons and my sons, to this homeland that I've always heard about, but never experienced. And so to be a part of this council here that is here today, it chokes me up, and it has brought me to tears because I'm standing on 1,000,000 years of my ancestors, the ones my great uncles told me about. So to be able to sing for them and wake them up, like I was told by one gentleman, my DNA is the same as the trees. So I'm very honored to be here and very honored to be a part of this council in hopes that we can bring a change and hope that ears are all open. As my grandma used to say, that was an Oneida. Let our hearts and minds be as one. Oh.
Hello, my name is Aaron Athey. I come from the Mohegan Nation, Uncasville, Connecticut. I'm very honored to be here with my Stockbridge relatives. It's good to be here with them as they experience coming to their homelands, and it's good to travel, be back here. I've been around the Berkshires many years as a POW MC for the community here and back home all over the Northeast and throughout the States, and It's good to be here, and I enjoy this work, this work to help save our planet, Mother Earth. We need to take better care of her. Currently, I work in the community, a spiritual leader in the prisons too. I'm a Native American chaplain for the Department of Corrections in Connecticut, and we have a lot of trauma healing also in our communities, but also the healing the trauma that we've done to our Mother Earth. That we all share the same mother, and we all need to help take care of her in our own backyards, our communities, because we're all the same in that regards. We share the same mom, Mother Earth. So welcome, and I'm glad that you're here to listen and to take part with us and share your love and your acceptance. Thank you.
Mabrika gua ipko gua itu gua tias gua ipko da iri gua guarish Roman gua guarish Perez da guarico gua kiskeya gua sheri gua baitoa gua IT. Say welcome to all of you to the circle, relatives. My name is Roman Guarish Perez, Red Hawk. I come from the Taino Nation, from the Dominican Republic, known as Quisqueya, is the original indigenous name, from the Caribbean islands, you know, and grew up here in the United States in New York, and I'm really grateful to be here, be part of this council, this circle, as being the First Nation, you know, that we're exposed to this new world, you know, the Europeans coming over, and that we're no longer ghosts, that we're here, that we're not extinct, that we're here, that our DNA says we're here. That's like my grandma always told us, you know. So, and also Cacique, chief of Maishiti Yukayeke Taino, and spiritual leader of Hawks Nest Quest Native Church. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Diana Perez, daughter of Annette Alestra, granddaughter of Diana Alestra, mother of Gabriel and Sophia, grandmother of Logan and little sweet pea that's due in November. I am wife of Cacique Guaraguarish of Mayasiti Yugayeke. I am an ally to Mother Earth and to the universe and to all our ancestors. We are all related, and I'm feeling very grateful to be here and honored to sit on this panel with all of my relatives here from the four directions, and with you that is interested in helping the planet and seeing what part you can play in helping Mother Earth. Together, one heart, one mind. Aho.
Thank you. This might be a panel, but you can tell it's not a performance. My name is Sarah Jelena Wolcott. My father's ancestors came from England about 400 or thereabouts, 404 centuries, something like that, years ago. And before that, my grandmother's grandmothers sang songs and picked plants in England and Norway and Holland, which were known by other names at that time. And as I sit here the last few days, I feel my ancestors and I feel their deep joy of this moment, that one of their own daughters gets the honor to sit beside the people who they did not know how to respect, and that they can now, through me, take actions of respect, of repentance, of repair, of love, which they did not know how to do, or if they knew, they ignored it. And I feel their gratitude, and I know that I too am part of the dream being reborn. And I am so overwhelmed to be a part of the witness of this time and to play a tiny bit of a role to welcome you home.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Lev Natan. I'm the founder and executive director of Alliance for a Viable Future. And I'm a fourth generation Ukrainian Jewish, both sides of my family from Kiev and Odessa. And yeah, my ancestors came over here about 100 years ago. And I feel a great deal of solidarity with my indigenous relatives, and I've been brought to tears this weekend, tears of joy and overwhelming emotion for the Stockbridge Muncie relatives being here and planting a tree of a cedar tree of peace and of commitment to the future of our Mother Earth together. So I'm really grateful. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Sarah Russell Chase Natan. On my mom's side, I'm from Ireland, and then on my dad's side, I'm from Ukraine. And third generation on both sides. So grateful to be here, to witness so much beauty and realness, and learn a little more about how to be a real ally. I grew up on Wampanoag land in eastern Massachusetts, and now I live here on your land. I'm so grateful to be here with you today. All of you, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I am Molly O'Grady. I am very Irish, as you can tell by my name. I am a non-native ally, and I'm just here to welcome them home and to support them if the support is needed and to learn. So thank you all for coming and sitting to learn today, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Andy Call. I come here from the coast of Maine, Brunswick, Maine, Wabanaki Territory. I come from mixed European heritage, Portuguese, German, Scottish, Irish, English, and Austrian. As a white man sitting on this council, I'm feeling responsible tonight, and through my relationships with some really good old friends here tonight, as well as new friends, welcome. Thank you, to the Stockbridge Muncie. I'm thinking about that word responsible as in response able, able to respond. So, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Johnson. I have a Sanskrit name, it's Premdas, because I was involved with Kripalu Center since 1975. My ancestors are from Ireland, France, Poland, and Ireland. And I'm here with my wife, Smita. And when I look out at our circle, it's like, look at this beauty. Look at these beautiful people. And very, very moved by that. Want to welcome the Stockbridge Muncie family back. And Sean, I think there's going to be a show about you. It's called Everybody Loves Sean. Reality show. Something like that. So, Swami Kripalu, when he came to the United States back in 1977, he brought a teaching from his land in the East, India, and the main teaching was, Sanskrit word is Vaisudeva Kutumbakam. I'll say it again, Vaisudeva Kutumbakam. It means we're all one family. And that's how we sat together today in council around that fire in our prayers and who we are in this circle. So you're you're part of the circle, even though you're sitting in rows over there, you're part of the circle too. So welcome, and hope you get inspired to take action during these times where we need to come together as humans. Ho.
I'm Quinn Miller. I am Stockbridge Muncie. The last couple days, my soul has been filled with joy to be here. As all of my companions know, that I express my joy through humility. I am a Marine combat veteran of Afghanistan 2010.
Hello, my name is Chelsea Thompson. I am very, very honored to be here. I am an ally. I hail from Austin, Texas. I have on my father's side Scottish and German. On my mother's side, I am 14th generation Mayflower descendant, direct descendant. I, without getting into all of that, I have an insane amount of compassion for our land, and was asked to join this panel and offer my insight, and just feel very honored to be able to share that with everyone here today. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michael Foster. My father's African American and my mother is Okinawan. She's of the Warrior Clan, and I am honored to be part of this council and to have the privilege of being in relation with such amazing, passionate people, and look forward to continuing to grow that relationship and to infuse this love and this connection throughout everybody, with everybody who's in the audience tonight. So thank you.
Relatives. Son. Thank you, relatives, for your introductions. All. I was asked tonight to officiate, and I wasn't quite sure what that meant, but I just figured I'll do it like I usually do everything. I'll just wing it. I'm a wing it kind of guy. It's very honorable for all of us who are part of this Northeast Indigenous Climate Control Council, and we're all here for the same thing. Or did I say Climate Change Council. And we're all here for the same thing, is because Mother Earth is in trouble. And this is something that many of us knew that was a long time coming, even before we were even born. Our parents, our grandparents knew that one day that people would have to come back and talk with the indigenous people, or the indigenous mindset of understanding that connection. Not just our own connection, but reminding other peoples of non-indigenous origins of their connection to this earth, this Mother Earth, all of ours. This belongs to all of us. And I always tell people, if we all sat in a room and we all kind of knew what the directions and such, and we say, "I'll point in a direction where your ancestors come from." We might be all pointing in different directions. But stand us on the moon and ask, okay, where you all come from? And we all point from one place, and that's this earth, Mother Earth. We hear people say our genetics are tied to the trees, to all human beings, all plants, all animals. We're all one. There really is no us and them. There's only all of us. And for us coming together and putting our minds together, work not only as Indigenous folks, but with other organizations such as Lev's organization, Alliance for a Viable Future. And that's such a perfectly worded organization for me, Alliance for a Viable Future. Because we're taught that the things we do today, we have to make plans for them 7 generations down the road. And we all need to come together. We can't do this on our own. And we have these teachings that we come to share, but we can't do it on our own. We have to do it as one, as a global family. We're all brothers. We're all sisters. And to understand that, we can all understand that. We can save Mother Earth. we can save Mother Earth. And not only that, we can stop all these wars. For over 10,000 years of civilization, we haven't figured out how to get along yet. Realize that we all belong to the same human family, to the same earth, that we all are connected. We're all indigenous to this earth. Okay, and there's much that needs to be done. We planted that tree just yesterday, and there's nothing the words that I can use to explain the energy that was there. We have some pictures, but the pictures just cannot explain the power that was present there. I feel the 7 generations and further even back, the spirits that were there, the people who were there at this time, and the 7 generations and beyond who will come and remember that we had planted that tree there, to visit that tree. And I hope that the generations from the future come and they're giving prayers of thanks that the world is a much better place. I mean, we can't change it overnight, but we can cast those seeds, to sprout a new beginning. And I heard somewhere, that a person who plants a tree knowing that they'll never be able to sit under its shade, swing from its branches or eat its fruit, that's a person who knows what life's all about, because we're doing it for the future. And Mother Earth is sick. Needs all of our help. We had teachings on how we are supposed to live and how we're supposed to have that mindset and respect for everything, not only just our own families and ours, all that, even that doesn't seem familiar to us, everything under the sky and beyond. Because we all are own. We're all family here. And within this today, what we're going to do here today, we want to open it up to the audience here, and many questions. I'm sure there's many questions, and that's what all of us are here for, to hear and answer these questions. As we came and we talked to ourselves, and we got really good familiar with all of us, even though we're all relatives, and even though a lot of us didn't meet each other, that's what we say, we're relatives, but you're our relatives too, mankind, okay? And for what we need, we have to come together. We're here to share. And we knew this day would come. Hundreds and hundreds of years we knew it would come. And it's such an honor to be here today, to be a part of that generation who is sharing. And for all of us to work together, hand in hand, an alliance for a viable future, a better future. Because we all want the same thing. We want a safe, healthy place for our descendants to grow up on, to be happy, to be free from war, not worrying about looking around the corner, who's coming for your stuff, who's coming to ruin your stuff, or who's coming to dump things in your backyard that you make you sick. But we're all here to band together to make an alliance, unity, to hopefully convince those powers that be, that we need to find new ways instead of creating all of this pollution. That's making our climate change so much, global warming, to come up with better ideas for fuel, for these plastics, all these things that are choking off our rivers, our oceans, our lands, everything that's poisoning. Because what we're doing is we're poisoning ourselves. I mean, food and water doesn't come freely from the grocery store. And the more we keep doing this, the less we're going to have to be able to provide for everyone. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to open it up, and don't be shy to ask questions. And one of us might have the best answer, or whatever. One of us will answer your question, okay? And I've always been told that there is no dumb questions. There's only dumb question is the one that's never asked. So don't worry about it, And also, there's a thing that we like to describe as native humor. We like to laugh and joke. So hopefully, and sometimes we're a little sarcastic too. But don't take offense to it. We always say if we tease you, we like you. If we just ignore you, then we don't like you. Okay. So is there anybody who would like to ask questions? Anything off the top of your mind? Like I said, don't be shy. Anything, whether it's something to do with climate change, whether it's something to do with our culture, and what brought us here. Any question at all? Settle down, everybody, one at a time. Okay. Can we get him oh, okay, we'll hand her the microphone, then we'll have one.
It's good to be here. I want to know more about your indigenous languages and if they are, I understand they are kept alive in the different places that you are living, yes? The languages, your original languages.
Most of our,
but there you go.
Most of our communities are starting their own language culture classes to bring back the language. We as Mohicans here, our language has been devastated through Christianity. You know, just a little story. My dad always told me he's a product of the boarding schools. My dad can't read and write, but he could speak perfectly good English. And he always told us, I don't know the language. And my dad is 90 years old, and his younger brother, 10 years younger than him, just passed away. And I just got a videotape of him speaking words that his dad used to give them. And then when I went back and asked my father about it, my father said, my dad was worried that they were going to come and take us away, so we didn't need the language. But our communities, most communities, are bringing back what they can of our languages. We'll never be fluent as our ancestors. But we probably will never talk the same dialect as our ancestors. But our younger generation are now taking pride in wanting to know it. Me as a drummer that has traveled around drumming, my children, they could sing a song in their mother's tongue, the old Makmanewick people, in their tongue, and elders would come up and speak to them, and they wouldn't know what the elder was saying, and the elder would say, I thought you knew the language, because they knew words in a song. And that's how some way we're bringing it back, because now some of these kids are going on and they're learning the language. And just a little bit I know, the prayers I know in my language, I feel so much pride. There's nothing. My chest pumps out. What Thanksgiving, what you call for Thanksgiving, we do it, I do it, and my kids will do a prayer in each of their native language. Me and my wife had 10 children, so we got 58 grandchildren. So I have children in the Menominee Nation, I have children in the Ojibwe Nation, you know, and the Oneida Nation, and they all, there's that Indian humor. And I all encourage them all to learn a prayer in their language, because they know when that time comes up, one of them are going to be doing it. So I know all of our communities are trying to bring the languages back.
Yat eh. Yat eh. Come on. You want to know language? Good. Put some spirit into our voice. I'm Navajo. I have excuse me. I've been sitting in the sauna for too long. I have 300,000 plus Navajo relatives. And we still speak Navajo. And we, at one point in the wintertime, we would go off into a remote area, and you'll see nothing but Navajos at a ceremony, 9-day ceremony. And
we speak in Navajo. And so Navajo is the language is something that is, some people say it's hard to learn. But it does give life to who we are. And every morning we say ha-ah to the east, shata-ah to the south, e-ah to the west, nahon to the north, ya-snido, nahastan, do, degojades, look up, you see the universe. So from that we say, not only do we speak the language, but also we speak, with thoughts to one another. The minute you get up, you have a thought. And you stand up and, bless yourself to the east, the sun comes up. By then you know that you have an agenda. Then you will talk to your relatives. What is it that we're going to do today? There's a problem? Yes, there's a problem. So there's something to be talked about. So as the sun travels, we followed clockwise. Then we go see, nahat means that the thought that you have is to be expressed in words, to say that this is how we will address the thought, the question, the issue that we have at hand. So all the relatives are listening. So by sundown, then people have done enough, talked enough, and say, we have a solution at hand. Time to implement the solution. Then we say in the ceremony, can you say that? Come on. Nahadotles. Hojo nahadotles. Hojo nahadotles. Hojo nahadotles. You say it enough, then that's what you become. Hojo means good. Nahadotles is here. So the night comes, time to rest. And say, Da'osh means go to sleep. Thank you.
Honored Sheikh, thank you. Shehe. I just wanted to say it was really beautiful hearing Gordon at the ceremony. I'm taking Munsee classes. I'm Ramapo Munsee. We're in the Ramapo Mountains, about 30 miles from Manhattan. And I'm taking Munsee classes. Maybe I should take more. But it was, I could hear, I could understand what he was saying in Munsee. And this is the first time someone outside of the classes that I knew personally that I was able to come and just hear that. It was like a beautiful moment for me. So I wanted to thank you. I thank you for that. And I think our indigenous languages kind of reflect the crossroads we're at, because there's so many languages that are being lost. And Munsee, it's a reflection of the genocide of our peoples. I mean, Munsee was systematically attacked. And what's interesting about New York City is it's the most linguistically diverse region on the planet. There's over 800 languages spoken there. And until recently, Munsee was not an active language, but it's embedded in the lands. I mean, the word Manhattan is a Munsee word meaning land of many hills. That large river to the west that they call the, well, I won't give its English name, I'll say it, and you can probably guess the name I'm talking about, the Mahikanatuk. Mahikanatuk is the one that goes all the way down to Manhattan. It means river that flows both ways, because as many people know, there's tidal influences, I think, all the way up to near Albany almost. And so the language really reflects the reality we're in. And I don't know, maybe that might help us get out our predicament from climate change and realize our connection. And just one more word. There's one of the popular trees here is they call it the maple tree in English. In our language, we call it Asuna Minshi. And I remember talking to Evan Pritchard, the author, and he says you can look at the history of the word or the reality of the word in the word itself. You don't have to go to the Oxford. There is no Oxford Muncie dictionary, but the root word asun is stone, so it's stone tree, and I thought that was interesting. And then I did some research, and yeah, the maple tree is one of the hardest of the hardwoods. So these ancestors had some really deep knowledge about our place here and place in the world. So honestly, thank you for that question.
I can only speak for myself to say that we're still dealing with that. It's hard because we have what's called intergenerational trauma. Some of our elders here have been through the mission schools, and a lot of terrible things have happened there. A lot of abuse. Every type of, the children, every type of abuse that could happen there happened, and it happened very often. And many of them children did not come back. And these were children who were taken out of the house at a very young age and shipped off thousands of miles away. And many of them never got to come home. And a lot of us that are on the reservation, even off the reservation, there's things that have happened that have trickled down through the generations that we're still dealing with. That intergenerational trauma, and trying to figure that out and trying to come to a reasoning with it in healing ourselves. I would like when we understand that to forgive is the right thing, but for me, I guess what I'm saying is just we're still dealing. I know that's something we got to move past. To forgive, understandable, but to forget, never. And we still have a lot of trust issues. A lot of things on the reservation. A lot of people think a lot differently of our people, that we all kind of sit in big circles and we're all loving and sing kumbaya and stuff, but we're dealing with a lot of inner conflict with ourselves with what was put onto us from the mission schools. So to say forgiveness, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't blame anyone today who's here today, or use that as an excuse to hold us back from doing anything. But there's still a lot that we have to overcome. So I guess maybe I haven't done that yet, but it's a work in progress. But I know it's something I have to do. But I'm working on it.
You mentioned Vision Quest, and in Vision Quest, you can't hold any grudge. You can't have anything negative thoughts in your mind, in order to go deeper into that Vision Quest that whatever it is that you're seeking to find, and you can't have any kind of a negative feeling about anybody or anything. You have to have just positive everything in order to get deeper inside that the vision that you're seeking. And as like Sean said, that I can only speak for myself also, and my dad used to say, is to be strong mentally. And what he meant was regardless of what somebody says to you or does, don't really take it too hard. Don't pay no attention to it. Just keep going. You're living for yourself, and you can make your whatever it is that you're seeking. you'll find it. If you let other things interrupt in your thought process, you will never get there. He used to tell me, and that's how we are right now. You know, a lot of times there's so many things that happen to Native people of the United States, and it's hard to forgive. But if we think about that or talk about that all the time, then how we're going to go forward? And we have to start right now, go forward and make our own life, because yesterday is gone. You know, it's all gone. Can't do nothing about it. But what we need to do is go for it, and that's why we're here. You know, to rejuvenate the ancestral teachings and the life that they used to have here on these lands, you know, and so that we can all go forward in a positive way, you know, with new ideas and with a lot of faith, love, and hope, compassion in our heart, you know, because in all religion, there's a creator, there's God. And we're all God's children, we say, you know, we're all God's children. And I have children. I used to tell my children, don't be fighting amongst each other, you know, get along real good, learn to get along real good. So what does God think about us, you know, arguing about everything all the time? And we're all His children, then what does He feel? And sometimes we say, I'm better than this other person. Bless me with all this and that, you know. You know, what will God say to you then, you know? So those are my thoughts and feelings, and just something positive is what that's gonna you can build your life on it in a good way.
Bonjour. I've asked my sister here to speak because we're not hearing the voice of our women and our grandmothers. So I've asked my sister here to speak, that we need, in this time, our mother is speaking, and we need to hear the women sound their voices.
Ganesh to my brother. I think that's a very, very challenging question, and like our elders say, we're working on it. But one of the things that comes to my mind is that forgiveness is one of our top core values, that we were taught by our elders to forgive. And we're either going to comply with our values or we're going to put them on a shelf. And we spent a lot of time this weekend in circle and in prayer to remember and reaffirm those core values. And part of it is forgiving ourselves and healing the Mother Earth. And that's where we're going to get the forgiveness, is as we take care of our mother. Because if we don't, we're not only, we're ignoring what we've been taught by our elders. Someone prayed for us 7 generations ago so we could be here. And we don't want to stay attached to that forgiveness. And I would like to yield to my sister, Grandma Margaret.
Tisa hene nost, he was the new. In Cheyenne, that means to overlook. I have been asked to say the word, translate the word in Cheyenne forgiveness. We do not have a word in forgiveness. It's a long story, explanation. Somebody does something to you. So it takes a person with courage and stamina, like Cheryl said. And the women were the first teachers of our children. And like the core value is that I know from my grandparents didn't have a word for forgiveness. And I know 7 languages, and even in the native languages, there are no forgiveness, they're just stories. Like stories to move on, like my brother said, it's already done, And so we tell the story of the outcome of what is to be exchanged in that situation. So I know that's a very difficult word. Even my young people, when I'm teaching them the Cheyenne language, they ask me that, and I tell them, well, it's a story, for one to tell, and usually it was the warrior story. The mothers were war mothers, and they were the ones to tell the story of their son or their husband that was in war. And that was not a good thing to go into war. So it was very difficult for a mother, a female, to tell the story. So that's from my understanding. Thank you.
Sean, we have a question from somebody watching online. What advice is from Annabelle? What advice from your culture do you have on how to take care of the earth?
Well, we all have answers for that, but I'm going to again yield to our elders to answer that question.
I keep telling him I'm not that much older than him. But I think where we have to start is at the very beginning. We have to teach our children. We have to go back and teach them how to clean up after themselves and clean up after each other or others who can't. We do have some who can't. Help our elders. We have to take care of each other, and we have to take care of Mother Earth, and it starts with teaching the children.
Some of these issues we always talk about in Navajo, not so much English, because taking care is something that comes from within. When the earth and the universe, the air and the water were put together. And the holy people said to the Navajo people, "Here is your law. Take care of it. And within, you have everything that you need." So, that one of the things that is very obvious in Navajo when we speak to each other, there's no such thing as right. There's no word for right. There's no word for forgiveness. So when it comes to right, doesn't mean that we don't pay attention to the expectation of people for wanting a good life, to be treated well. It is there. So one of the things that when the creation was made, one of the things that came with it is the value of duty, responsibility. So whatever you do, you know, as a leader, we have to learn the culture, learn the language, and then teach the language, and then apply the language. So even when you talk about no forgiveness, there's no nothing, right, is something that is very individual. I mean, everybody says, I mean, this is my right. You don't say that in the culture. Because when you are a leader, everybody's a leader in one way or another. So everybody has to, you know, take on that responsibility to make sure that everything is taken care of. I mean, we say, that means we're related to everything. So the duty is there. If you hurt somebody, then the duty is there to respond to the hurt. So so the thing that comes very very plain. I mean, that's highly expected. A woman got hurt, and she was very, you know, very, very, very hurt, and told the person responsible for the hurt, how are you going to fix me? How are you, my dignity, my worth is shattered. So here, the sense of duty comes in. If you are responsible for the hurt, then you have to come around and say, what I didn't mean to do, I did it, is what you would say as a matter of your duty. So that, you know, in the long run, even in peacemaking, the person responsible says, I accept the responsibility. And that has to be said, because the relationship has to come to be reconnected one way or another. There is still much care in it. So sometimes we say that some lawyers say, what's the word for damage? We say, naliyesh means some property, to show that, you know, you take to heart that, you know, hopefully that this was relieve the pain. Other than that, like my relative said here, is that you don't dwell on it. You don't say, well, I'm going to take revenge at some point. The older people said, don't do that. And so, thank you.
Hello. Just want to touch base in reference to that question about, you know, how people get involved, and like Sister was saying here about teaching the children. It takes me back to a memory of my own child, you know, and my son, from very young, you know, teach him how to pick up that little garbage, that candy wrapper, put it in your pocket, you know, and then, you know, little things like that. And I remember at one point having a sleepover at a friend's house that was non-Indigenous. And then the mom called us up and says, you know, you should really talk to your son. There's a problem. Like, he had all this garbage in his pocket. You know, maybe you should get to bring him to the doctor and see why he's collecting garbage. You know, and it's true, you know, and still to this day, you know, 9 years older, he smoked tobacco and stuff like that, and cigarette butts in his pocket, you know. But you know, that's one thing, you know, like I said, raise the children, even yourself, you know. See something out of place, especially in the ceremony area, you know, we clean up, you know. We was talking about like doing these runs and spiritual walks and everything. We send people out before we even do that walk or that run to that area in ceremony to clean up before, you know. So it's really important, you know. And just like the elder said earlier about that word forgiveness, you know, my language too, that word don't exist. I think in a lot of indigenous language, that type of word don't exist, you know. And I just had to touch on that question as well, because the thing that we need to do, it's a very touchy subject, and things that as people, if you come around and support an Indigenous event like this or any other event, and you are some person that have a religious background, it's okay, that's your spirituality. Just keep it there. Don't try to bring it here. And that's a first sign for us that you're not trying to, it's like it could be that silent forgiveness, right? If I see that you have a certain garb or a certain tradition that's your religion, and you come here and you like what we do, you like that song, then you honor it like that and keep it, but don't continue to do the missionary work. And I mean, let it stop right there, and then that helps heal your own trauma too. Somebody talk about that, what our ancestors did, and how do we feel about what they did. Then stop doing what your ancestors did, and then you can find healing your own trauma and heal your ancestors as well that are not Indigenous.
I'd like to say something. Many of us take walks, we take pictures, we take deep breaths, and what is our intention to return those gifts that are given to us? We take a swim. And so to the question of, what are some things we can do to heal? So maybe we recognize what we take, maybe we don't take. Or take with a certain intention. And I was really moved yesterday as we were engaging with the planting of the cedar, is that there were shells from many different shores that were crushed up and are at the base of the cedar. And I'm fairly certain that when those shells were collected, they didn't know they were going to be in the ground under the roots of a cedar in this place, but they found it in tension. And so one of the things to do is maybe change our language. Maybe we just walk. Maybe we walk with nature. Maybe we pay attention. Maybe we stop counting the steps and how fast we get there, but engage and notice if the birds are flying. There was a huge red-tailed hawk. The skies were quiet until we were with the drum at the tree. And then the hawk left. And then there was other birds that showed up. And when we're busy trying to take things, we miss out on those opportunities. Noah?
Anyway, relatives.
I want to say one thing. When that question was asked, the word that came to me was intimacy. And right relationship. In most of the native languages, there's animate and inanimate, and the perspective that right relationship is recognizing life and spirit in everything. And seeing our relationship, how we're fed by the plants, the medicines come for the plants. The water takes care of us. When you start having that relationship and really seeing how blessed we are in those gifts, and you get that relationship straight, and you can start in your own little areas and goes out and goes out. Your heart opens and your mind's open. And if you're on the side of life and healing, and if you're concerned about the next generations, you wake up like that and pay attention. It's a beautiful shift that needs to happen for healing to come. So that's how we take care of each other, and that's how we're going to take care of all these beautiful gifts. Everything has instructions to support us. The water, the plants, the medicines. And we just say thank you, you can put an offering down. And just think before you take, little things like that.
I believe we have a short video that you want to go through to keep with our time here. Do you want to show the video?
It's not necessary.
All right, anybody got any other questions?
Hey, Sean.
A couple questions here.
Well, we go to the next question. There's something I want to touch on. When I heard this question being asked about forgiveness, I could feel the walls of this building listening. And I can feel I'm a theologian and a minister, but you don't have to be a minister to recognize that we're in a building that was built by a Jesuit, as a Jesuit sanctuary. And that, as you, I'm sure, know, the Jesuits were responsible for many of the missions and many of the boarding schools that our friends, relatives, and ancestors have been in. And as someone who has studied in seminary, this question, I have a responsibility to say, not only the question that I heard being asked, which was, how do I forgive my people? And how do I forgive my ancestral and spiritual lineages? Maybe I'm not that today. Maybe that is not the path I choose, the spiritual path I choose to walk today. But how do I work with my ancestrals? And I work a lot with this question. I work with a lot of folks of European descent with such questions. And I've sat with this question, and there's not an easy answer. First, I want to acknowledge that this is not a pat, simple, one-sentence thing. We're not going to get there through anything other than truth. You cannot get to reconciliation because there was not a conciliation. First, we have to get to truth. You need to learn the real histories of what happened. And the real history of what happened is that climate change derives directly from colonization. That racism derives directly from colonization. That to embark upon an attempt to engage with the healing of our planet and the healing of one another is one and the same thing because they come from the same source. And it is that source that we must, each of us, heal. And it does not matter when your people came to this land. We still are under this church. And these stones come from here. These stones remember where they are from. These stones are both part of the problem because buildings today are more than 50% of the carbon emissions. The old records tell us, the old colonial records, my letters that my ancestors wrote when they came over, told of how impressed they were with the wigwams of the Wampanoag people, not that far from here. And they said, it's amazing, these wigwams, they're warm in the winter and they're cool in the summer because you can take off layers. So you can insulate them and they don't burn down. And then about a year later, maybe 6 months, the letters change and they say, we started having to stop building with the grasses for our roofs because we keep on building down. The colonists, were burning down their wigwams. That's what the letters say. Now, you wouldn't know this unless you read the letters, and it's very easy to skip over that line. But what that means is that they were building wigwams because they were better buildings. That means they were learning from their neighbors. And a decision was made to forget. And a decision was made to build an unhealthy building. We have to relearn the truth of what happened. And we have to learn what our ancestors did. And then we can begin the journey of knowing what it means to be in right relationship, and to know that all of those questions are part of a spiritual pathway. And I don't know how to answer those questions, not just without humility, but without continually going back to source, because I need a lot of support, and I deserve it. I deserve the support that I need to heal my ancestors, in order that I can show up for my brothers and my sisters, that I can give them my home, that I can find out how to do land back, that I can help my neighbors return the land as well as my own family. And I am finding ways. Those pathways are there. So have faith and have courage. It's okay to ask the difficult questions.
Well, my question is, what can you tell us that will give us hope? I feel very overwhelmed with the climate change. I watch a lot of shows about it, and I've been involved in Oceania, but I feel that it's very, very overwhelming, and that if I take care of my plastic trash or don't have any, that's really not going to do much. And I'm just wondering, what do you have to tell us that would give us hope and to guide us more?
It's a good question. Indigenous people of the earth don't carry prophecy that's been professed all over the earth that we're coming to the end of time. There are prophecies all over the earth which talk about this time. I work with prophecy, and I work with people of prophecy, and I find them. There's a Japanese prophecy that's the same as our Medewan prophecy. Our teachers talk about this time on this earth: Orwell-looking horse, Oran lions, the Mayan people, the Medewan people, which I come from. There's even a Muslim prophecy that speaks, the Muslims speak of a time before the earth was born, when all of us, because what we don't recognize and realize, that we're spirits walking in flesh, having a human experience. But like my sister spoke, we're spirits. And so before the earth was born, the Muslims talk of a time when we were all sitting in this place, waiting for the birthing of this earth. And we agreed that we would meet on this part of the earth at this time, to go back to our original instructions, because we would have forgotten them. Our Medewan prophecy, the Seven Fires prophecy, talks about the awakening of the people and the coming together of the four colors of man. The Haudenosaunee faith keepers have just spoken recently about giving ceremony to all sun dancers. There are sun dances out there where the four colors of man participate in sun dance. Mashika dances, moon dances. I was informed last night the moon dance of the Mashika people and the women are over in Israel right now under this full moon. Okay. Our grandmother. And they're dancing maybe not as we speak, because I don't know the time changes. Palestinian women and Israeli women are dancing together. We are spirits. Okay, we are spirits. And when I came here to this facility from Northern Ontario, and I started to, because I just kind of walk around and check things out, and then I break rules. Some of you may have seen me in the fire zone smoking. I figured that was a good place to go smoke. But the prophecies around the world give hope. Buddhists are showing up here. There's a 12,000-year-old Japanese prophecy that's the same as our Medewan prophecy, which talks about this time on the earth. Heard at Columbia University. The Japanese islands are a microcosm of the earth. And one of those islands is in the shape of North America. And when you translate that island's name from Japanese to English, it means Turtle Island. And within that island there's a lake, and within that lake there's another island, and that island is in the same shape as Manitoulin Island, which is the largest freshwater island in the world upon Lake Huron. And so the 12,000-year-old Japanese prophecy speaks about a time when the Japanese people from that part of the earth will return to Turtle Island. And they will seek out the red color of man, the Ojibwe-speaking people, because they will be the ones to help wake up the silver-seeded ones. The silver-seeded children, the spirits that are being sent to the earth right now by Creator with instructions to save the earth. We call them the children of the seventh fire. And so I've met people who have grandchildren who speak to their grandparents and tell them, I'm your grandfather, I'm your grandmother, I've come back to help you understand what is happening on the earth. Those exact words is what those 6-year-old and 8-year-old child is spoken. That's what's unfolding on this earth right now. And so this place that you're in and that you visit, why do you come here? I asked somebody that question today. Why is it that you come here? Why are we healing? What are we trying to heal, and what do we do after we're healing? When we sit here outside on those chairs and we go to yoga classes, what are we healing for? Ask yourselves that question. We're healing because we're here to find purpose, and we're here to do something, because this is the only place that we can feel that air as a spirit. Breathe it. Taste that food that's in the cafeteria. We need more meat up there, but
Okay, brother, we got about 1 minute before they kick us out of here, so.
I just want to address the question again real quick. I'll try to be real quick. Try. And I think, as much as I hate the word, you woke up. You woke up and you saw this session and you came and said, I need to do something. Now, next time when you see a session, grab a friend and say, we need to do something. And that's what we're doing up here. That's what Lev has set up, is I need friends to help me. And we all need our friends to help.
Responsibility.
Responsibility. And then reminder that natives have a sense of humor. I wanted to also address the forgiveness. And I think it goes hand in hand with trust. And you have to get that trust back before you can get that forgiveness level. We planted this cedar tree. It's one of our sacred medicines. And it was a cold morning, and we had my granddaughter and my niece actually planted it. It was very, I know we've talked about it, and if you talk to any one of us, we'll be nearly in tears trying to tell you about it. It was very emotional. When we got out there, it was cold. And we got out there, and there was a big trunk, and it was filled with wool blankets. They brought us wool blankets. Now, where the trust comes in is we used them.
I'd like to thank you guys all for coming out tonight. I wish we had a lot more time. We as natives, we always have a lot to say, and we only covered a very little bit of part of it. There's so much more. But we invite you guys all to come down to Great Barrington tomorrow for Indigenous Day Walk, down at across the street from the Highway Theater at the gazebo there. I believe it starts at 11 o'clock. We're going to roll through town, let everybody know we're here. Go down to the river, say some prayers down the river, then across the street over to the baseball diamond. Have some really good music and some dancing, and it's going to be beautiful. I mean, like you guys all to show up there tomorrow. Okay. Yes, yes. So to wrap this all up, as you guys are all exiting the chapel here, I think they used to call it, I'm not sure what they call it now, but I'm going to sing a song from Mother Earth, the grandmother of us all, in a prayer that we all go out today, from here today, we take something special, and we all figure out something tomorrow and in the future that we can do to help our own responsibility to Mother Earth and the next 7 generations. Thank you.